Before the incident, she drove her daughter to her father. On the way, the daughter also said that she missed her father and wanted to live with him. It was an ordinary chat, but it didn't come to pass.
This is a story of lust, evil, and tragedy. It sent shockwaves through the city of Chongqing. It began in November 2020, but the final chapter just ended days ago. Let's get into it. It's November 2nd, 2020. Things are pretty normal in Chongqing. Despite what you may think about what happened in China in 2020, I can assure you, November 2nd, things were normal. I know because I was there. The day that this occurred, I was at work teaching students of my own, and just days before, I was at a Halloween party. In a neighborhood I frequented often called Nanping, a horrific event took place. 2 children fell from the 15th floor of an apartment building. Moments later, a distraught father appears. He throws his body to the ground, wailing and screaming. He even slams his head into the concrete repeatedly. Neighbors gather and an ambulance is called. Let me introduce the characters in this story. First, we have Zhang Bo. I'm going to refer to him as simply Baba. He is the father. Next to him, we have Ye Chengchen. I'm just going to call her Chen. Next, we have 2 innocent children. Shui, the girl, she's 2 years old, and her little brother Yang is 1.5. Chen Meilin is their mother. And finally, we have Meilin's mother. I'm just going to call her Waipo, or grandma. When Meilin and Baba got married, Waipo was very against it. She did not think this was a good union for her daughter. They didn't stay married long. Grandma supported the divorce. She agreed to help out her daughter with her 2 kids as the dad went his separate way and got his own home. Grandma was also dealing with a cancer diagnosis, so it became difficult for her to care for 2 small children while her now divorced daughter was working. The family decided that the mom, Meilin, would keep the daughter, Yang Shui, while the boy, Yang, went to go live with his father. This was to help alleviate the pressure of Meilin having to take care of 2 kids and her ailing mother. At some point, Daddy Bo meets young Chen. Now, Chen is a hot young thing in these Chongqing streets, and Baba, he wants all the parts of that. So they begin to date. Chen and Baba are starting to get hot and heavy. Things are getting serious, and they begin to fall in love. Or is it lust? Baba Zhang did not disclose that he was previously married, nor that he had 2 children when this began. Chen comes from a wealthy family, so he knew he had to keep that on the low to get her. Eventually, he tells her the truth about his situation. Chen is like, nah.
I'm not trying to be a bonus mom. I really like you and everything, but I can't do the kid thing. So you're gonna have to do something about these kids, all right? Can't tell my family that I'm marrying a man with not 1, but 2 kids.
So Chen hits Baba with the Christina Aguilera. She's like, Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Meilin is just trying to take care of her sick mother and her little baby girl. They don't really have much interaction with Dad because, he's over here in Nanping wooing young Chen. 6 months go by without him seeing his daughter. But with all the pressure from little Chen on him about getting rid of these kids, he tells his ex-wife that he wants to spend some time with his daughter. Last time he saw her, she really didn't recognize him. He was getting a little concerned about the distance between the brother and sister. They're not really growing up together. They don't have a bond like they should. He's saying all these things. He wants to buy her some clothes. He wants to get her some gifts. He wants to spend time with this baby girl. And Meilin is like, yeah, for sure. I do think that you need to spend time with your daughter. Absolutely. All right, cool. I will bring her over to your place. It's November 2nd. It's not the time of year where one is just hanging out on a balcony on the 15th floor, but somehow these 2 tiny children managed to climb up the balcony and fall down 15 stories to the ground below. There are actual pictures of these 2 tiny bodies laying on the ground. In China, it is often that media outlets will post pictures unobstructed. Obviously, I will spare you from that. I hate that I had to see it. Neighbors have gathered around this horrific scene, and here comes the father in his pajamas at 3:30 in the afternoon. Not an uncommon thing. During my time in Chongqing, I learned that this is kind of a wealth status. You are so wealthy, you don't even have to put on clothes because you're so rich, you don't have to go to work. So here is Baba throwing himself into the ground, wailing and crying. An ambulance arrives. They say that young Shui Shui, the girl's life, ended immediately on impacts. The boy is still breathing and he is rushed to the hospital. The police begin to question Baba, of course, who initially says they just fell, but everyone is perplexed. A 2-year-old and a 1-year-old climbed up a balcony and fell? Not likely. The police ask Baba, what were you doing when they fell? And he says, I was taking a nap. I was sleeping. I don't know how the children got out onto the balcony. That was his first response. Upon being questioned further and asked the same exact question, he said that he was eating. And now, of course, all eyes are on the father. Days later, Yang Yang, the boy, succumbed to his injuries and he passed away as well. On November 10th, the police arrested Baba. And they also arrested young Chengchen. It was discovered that Chengchen and Baba were in a situationship long before his divorce was final. He started talking. I guess the guilt finally got to him and he confessed. He threw his 2 children off the balcony. He killed his kids. He said that he did this because he was under pressure from his girlfriend, Chengchen. She would not stop harassing this man about getting rid of them. She said that if he didn't do something about the kids, she would hurt herself. She said that if he did not get rid of these kids, he would lose her forever, and he made the choice to choose his girlfriend over his 2 children. Baba's mother hired a high-powered attorney, and she decided to rent a house nearby to be closer to help her child through this trial and tribulation that he's gotten himself into. Shortly after learning that this man actually did commit this horrific crime, the attorney excused himself. He wanted no parts of defending this sicko. The mother of this scumbag who decided to move into this neighborhood was exiled from the community. She was harassed daily until she left. I guess they found another attorney eventually because on July 26, 2021, a trial was had. On December 28th of the same year, the court sentenced these 2 heathens to the death penalty for intentional homicide. They immediately appealed. But things really hit the fan in January of 2022 because that's when all of their WeChat records hit the nets. WeChat is an all-encompassing app in China. I can't really compare it to a Western app. It's basically like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, news. It's everything all in once. And it's an app that we use to talk to our friends as well. I think it's important to note, for those of you who don't know, WeChat records are 100% admissible in court. I know this firsthand, but this story is not about me right now. We're talking about Chengchen and evil Daddy Bo. As you might imagine, there are thousands of text messages between these 2. They were in a relationship. There were thousands of messages of them plotting to get rid of these 2 children. They typed all of this out, and I read them all and I translated them. And now I'm going to break them down in American terms. Please make no mistake, none of my insertions of humor are to make light of this situation. Obviously, this is a horrific tragedy. I'm just merely translating what was said between these 2 criminals. In February of 2020, Chengchen starts to tell Daddy Zhang that her family cannot accept the fact that he has kids and he needs to do something about it. She says, the 2 children are a burden, and I cannot marry you unless you kill them. They have to be ridden from the earth. Instead of saying, girl, bye, Daddy Zhang hears her out. You see what I mean about COVID not really being a big deal in 2020? Because Chengchen is over here not at all concerned about a respiratory condition. Her main focus in life is to get rid of these 2 kids so she can marry this man. She goes on for months, giving him ideas.
Maybe you can poison them. Maybe you can take them on a trip and drown them in a lake.
She is giving this man idea after idea and constantly pressuring him to get rid of his kids. By June 2020, Chengchen was all in on this get rid of the kids plan. Chengchen is aware that Baba only has custody of the boy, but she needs both of the kids gone. So it was her idea to put together this plan to go get the girl, put them together, and get rid of them at the same time. Baba Zhang, he's stalling a little bit. He's giving her all kind of reasons why he can't do this. He's like, well, the girl, she don't even really know me like that no more because I'm never around. I'm always with you. It's going to be a little bit hard to like just have her come with me. The last time I saw her, she didn't even want to come over to like talk to me and hug me. She doesn't even really recognize me anymore. Chengchen is like,
I don't care about what you're saying right now. Get it done. Figure it out. Get them together and get rid of them.
it kind of seems like he's like, these kids aren't really going to be a problem. Like, I'm going to just give the boy back to his mother. The girl, she doesn't even really mess with me like that. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, we don't have, I mean, like, we can still be together. They're not going to be a burden. They're not really going to be in our lives. I'm already not in my daughter's life. I barely even see her. The girl don't even know me. Like, girl, relax. It's going to be okay. But Chengchen is not hearing any of that.
How are you going to buy me a house if you have to take care of these kids? How are you going to buy me a nice car if you have to take care of these kids? How are you going to be able to afford me if you don't get rid of these two kids? All your money is going to go to those two kids. You have to get rid of these two kids.
There is some indication in these messages that he broke up with her. She tripping. I don't know why this girl keeps telling me to kill my kids. I'm not going to kill my kids. September rolls around, it's fall, starting to get a little chill in the air. It's cuffing season. He misses Chengchen. He hits Chengchen up and she's like,
do you still have two kids? Then you cannot be with me. I'm not about to see you until you get rid of these kids.
So these two continue to go back and forth via WeChat, where a record is kept, even though they deleted it. And all of these records got leaked to the internet. And as I said, they appealed the conviction and the death penalty sentence. They are entitled to an appeal. But once those records came out, the entire city, maybe the entire country, wanted their heads on stakes immediately. After their messages leaked and hit the net, these two came up with a new plan. They recanted their original confessions. They said that they had mental illness. They took the insanity route. I wasn't in my right mind. This girl got into my head and made me think I should do this. Of course, the public wasn't buying it whatsoever. They pulled back the footage from the date of the incident and people commented on the father's acting skills as he threw himself to the ground, knowing that he threw his children to the ground just before that. How he was wailing and really put on an award-winning performance, some of the neighbors said. Baba Zhang decided to write not one, not two, but 3 letters to his ex-wife. He apologized for removing her children from the earth. He said that he regretted and he wanted her to forgive him. He also offered his ex-wife a house as in compensation for her children. I know this is a Chinese concept too. If you wrong someone, then you must make it right by offering them some sort of compensation. For example, if you hit someone with your car and they didn't die, but maybe their leg is broken, you may offer them a large sum of money so they can go to the hospital, get their leg fixed, make it even. This is the lay of the land. This is how things work in China. But to offer your ex-wife a house as compensation for the 2 children that you took from her, it's beyond me. It is. After reading the letters, Maylene was shook. She was aghast that this man would actually ask for her forgiveness and offer her a house. She better than me because she did take the time to write him back. I mean, he did write 3 letters and she finally was like, let me tell this. She wrote him back and she said she would never forgive him or his little mistress. She said she didn't want that funky little house. He can keep that. The only thing that would please her is seeing them both be executed as soon as possible. Personally, the death penalty is too easy. I don't believe in it for that reason alone. I think that living is way more difficult than dying. The mother, the person who is the most wronged in this tragic story, that's exactly what she wanted. and many people in China did as well. The mother, Miss Maylene, kudos to her for even being able to do interviews around this event. She's done quite a few, which is where a lot of this information has come from. On April 6th of 2023, they had their second trial. This time, things moved a lot faster because just over a month later in May, the same sentence came down. Off with their heads. On January 31st, 2024, just before Chinese New Year began, these two demons were removed from the earth. It's unclear through my research if they went out through lethal injection or if they were executed by gun. I saw stories that said both things happened. I'm inclined to believe that it was actually lethal injection because there were a lot of comments online about how that was too easy and they should have been shot or something more painful, that the injection process is very relaxing. It's like going to sleep and just not ever waking up. And that was too kind for two individuals who did such a heinous act on two innocent children. I think it would have been a much better punishment for them to just be imprisoned for the rest of their life and have to deal with all of the hatred and vitriol from other inmates and employees. Killing them is too easy, whether it was by lethal injection or being shot in a field. But this is the Chinese way. Many people are very happy with this outcome. The mother, most of all, I can't say she's happy, but she did express that she was glad that they were executed before the new year began so that she can begin 2024, the year of the dragon, feeling as though that chapter is completely closed. I did read that she has started a business with some friends and she's doing well considering the circumstances. What do you think? Was the death penalty too easy for these two monsters? Or was justice served?